After building up the terrain and the road last week, this week I started off by laying tiles and jumper plates for the underside of the cantina. I only used smooth tiles here so that opening and closing the cantina would be an easy process. I think this smooth area contrasts well with the rougher road and path areas. Don't want everything to look the same after all. I mixed tan and dark tan to give the floor a random natural look. I didn't use too many jumper plates since I wanted it to be easy to remove the entire cantina from the diorama. After a bit of wrestling, I managed to connect it down. Here's a demonstration of opening and closing the cantina. As you can see in the corners here, using jumper plates means the placement would be off-centered from the regular stud grid, which I think makes the cantina stand out that little bit more. Next part of the diorama to work on is the junkyard. In episode 4 A New Hope, we see a spaceship junkyard directly next to the dewback pen on this side of the cantina. I don't aim to make it look exactly the same as in the movie, since I like to add my own ideas and details to these dioramas, but to keep the same general theme and feel as the original scene. I started off by designing the main centerpiece for this junkyard, which is a large spaceship engine that looks like the Jawas have been picking at for quite a while. I drew inspiration from the UCS Venator for the overall look of the engine, but to make it look like it has seen better days in the past, with rust, dust, missing parts and panels. I think showing you some of the build process is the best way to explain this engine build. Next thing I built is a crude looking scaffolding for the Jawas to use as they take the engine apart. It also acts as a support to hold up the engine at an angle. I aim to have it look like something the Jawas put together using scraps and junk, full of rust and loose parts, since I don't think Jawas have health and safety as a priority. I also built a crane that the Jawas use to lift panels off from the engine. Jawas like to use large machinery such as a sand crawler after all, so a large piece of machinery here for them I think is fitting for the scene. I made it look like it was put together using different forms and eras of technology, with digital displays as well as analog gauges, and loose hydraulic tubing as if having it was an afterthought. After placing all the main objects, I placed the Jawas and other smaller details scattered around to create the messy junkyard look to the scene. I tried to give the smaller parts lying around a similar theme as a large engine, with round, smaller engine-looking parts and more panels that covered them in the past. Here's a look at this week's progress. I decided to move the crane and use a turntable piece to place it at an angle, because I thought it looked too prominent in the first position, blocking the cantina and the dewback. I think this position makes it blend in more with the junkyard. I didn't work on any other areas this week since designing the engine and building the junkyard took longer than I expected, so everything else is the same as last week. Next detail to work on is a building opposite the cantina. My initial idea here is to build a droid parts shop. I think it will fit in well with the junkyard and the other Jawa parts shop that came with the set. I'll also add other details throughout the diorama and clean things up. I'm hoping that one more week will be enough and next week's video will be the finale for this build. Thank you very much for watching and I'll see you on the next one.